Your wallet isn't the real target. Your brain is. Whether you're shopping online or in a grocery store, you're constantly being influenced. Most people never notice these psychological triggers. By the end of this video, you'll start spotting them everywhere. So, what are these triggers? And why does your brain fall for them? Let's start with something surprising. Have you ever opened Amazon just to buy a phone charger and somehow ended up checking out with headphones, a desk organizer, and a coffee mug you never planned to buy? Or walked into a grocery store for milk and walked out with a cart full of snacks? Most people blame themselves for having poor self-control. But psychology tells a different story. Your brain isn't simply making random decisions. It's responding to powerful psychological cues that businesses have spent decades learning to use. The first one is anticipation. Most people think shopping feels good because of buying something, but research suggests that much of the excitement actually happens before the purchase. When you imagine owning a new product, your brain begins anticipating the reward. That anticipation can feel exciting on its own, making it harder to walk away. That's why browsing online stores can quickly turn into buying something you never intended to purchase. But anticipation is only the beginning. Have you ever seen a message that says, "Only 2 left in stock," or "Sale ends tonight"? Suddenly, the product feels much more valuable. This is known as the scarcity effect. When something appears limited, our brains often assume it's more desirable. Even if we weren't planning to buy it a few seconds earlier, the fear of missing out can push us toward a quick decision. The interesting part? Sometimes the pressure comes from the deadline, not from the product itself. Now let's talk about one of the oldest pricing tricks you'll ever see. Imagine 2 prices, $10 and $9.99. Logically, the difference is only 1 cent, but many people perceive $9.99 as noticeably cheaper because the brain often gives extra weight to the first number it sees. This is one reason prices ending in 0.99 remain so common. Next, think about what happens when you're unsure whether a product is worth buying. You look at the reviews. You check how many people bought it. Maybe you notice a label that says bestseller. This is called social proof. When we're uncertain, we naturally look to other people for guidance. If thousands of others seem to approve of something, our brains often treat it as a safer choice. That shortcut can be useful, but it can also encourage purchases we never planned to make. Now here's another trick that's much harder to notice. Decision fatigue. Every decision you make throughout the day uses mental energy. By the time you've compared products, read reviews, chosen colors, and selected sizes, your brain is tired. When that happens, it's easier to accept add-ons like extended warranties, extra accessories, or the classic, "Customers also bought." Your brain starts looking for the easiest path instead of the most thoughtful one. So, how do you protect yourself? You don't need superhuman willpower, you just need a better system. Before buying something, pause for a minute and ask yourself 3 simple questions. Do I actually need this? Would I still want it if it weren't on sale? And if I leave it for 24 hours, will I still feel excited about buying it tomorrow? That short pause gives the emotional part of your brain time to settle, allowing the more rational part to make the final decision. The goal isn't to stop enjoying shopping. It's to make sure you're making the decision, not your automatic impulses. The next time you see a flash sale, a countdown timer, or a message saying, "Only 2 left," you'll know what's happening behind the scenes. And once you recognize these psychological triggers, they become much harder to ignore. So, what's the biggest impulse purchase you've ever made that you later regretted? Share it in the comments. I read every one of them, and your story might help someone else make a smarter decision. If you enjoyed learning the psychology behind everyday choices, subscribe to Mind Behind Choices for more videos that reveal how your brain shapes your decisions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.